Welcome to Generación Latina, your host here, Carolina Peña. In tonight's show, we're going to discuss a great example among our youth today, and someone that I've gotten to know in this one occasion, but just made a great impression on me, especially because we always think of young Latinos as very promising, but yet with such a great gap to achieve in the fact that they're surrounded by bad influences and maybe a lack of role models. Yet the student that we're going to feature today, I think, stands out from the crowd. So I'd love to introduce you all to Gianna Fogelbach, which is not a Latino last name, so you're going to have to explain that a little bit. But Gianna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I guess I'll start with the last name.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't believe that I'm Hispanic because, you know, I'm a little more light-skinned. Some people think I'm European because of the last name. It's actually my father's father was German. He moved to El Salvador, and he married my grandma. And, you know, my dad's from El Salvador, and my mom's from Chile, so I am Hispanic. It's just the last name, you know, came from Germany.
Mm-hmm. And what do you speak more at home, like English or Spanish?
Spanglish.
Spanglish. That's my language, absolutely. So it's great because we actually met not long ago. Mm-hmm. You were one of a few students that were winning the Hispanic Heritage Youth Award. So congratulations.
Thank you.
One of the reasons that has brought you here, and not only did you stand out from that crowd, but then we connected back to Sylvia, who was also featured in the show. You work for Sylvia,
yes,
who is a young Latina entrepreneur, certainly a role model. So I think, you know, we're privileged in that we have these great Latina, you know, women that are just achieving so much. They're powerful, they're young, you know, they've got so much energy. And I see you as one. Even though I'm older than you, but you do not act you're definitely a lot more mature.
Thank you.
And the way that you dress obviously says so much about the great influence that Sylvia, you know, as a fashion designer has had on you. So it's exciting, but we're really here to talk about your real passion, which is teaching.
Yes.
So tell me more about that. And actually, your award was the education award. So it wasn't about fashion. It wasn't about, you know, obviously your academics have gotten you there as well. But I want to hear more about that. So how did your love for teaching begin?
It started in 6th grade. I had to do, you know, service hours to graduate, and then I've always been a person who liked to do things ahead of time, so I started doing my service hours in 6th grade instead of high school. And I went to a little elementary school, you know, first I started with just putting books away in the library. And the kids would stay there for after school help. I used to see them. I used to, like, just love watching them, and like they have like this smile and like this brightness that comes from them. And from there, I started doing SSL hours with a teacher, and then you know, even though it's after school, I still see like the kids running around saying, "Hi," like after school, like, "Hi, we love you, like we miss you, like the best teacher ever." And then from there, it kind of stuck with me from middle school to high school to now, and I'm always remembering those little kids, you know. And so I had the opportunity to have an internship, and I was like, definitely going into teaching. So now I'm interning 2nd grade at Lake Seneca, this little school that I went to as a kid, and the experience is just so enriching, not just for, you know, like preparing for like a career, but for my mind and for my soul. I can feel like those kids bring me up, you know, uplifting me, making me smile. And even though, like, you know, little kids can be like rascals, sometimes it can be difficult, but at the end of the day, I definitely feel happy doing it.
You've gotten an experience, you know, early on that maybe most high schoolers, you know, when they're trying to, you know, finish high school, they don't even realize what they could be good for, or what, you know, what's out there for them, what opportunities. Teaching is obviously a very obvious option, given that you're surrounded by teachers all your, you know, educational career. So what would you sort of advise other students to do so that they also have a better sense of what they could be doing, you know, 5-6 years after their high school graduation?
Definitely consider what you love, whether it be, you know, drawing, sketching, like little doodles, or outfits, singing, doing music, like playing music, whatever. Like if you love math, science, you should find a way to incorporate that into your career. Do definitely what you love. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's proven true with what I fell in love with, because there was a time where I used to love science and math, and I sat in my, I think it was my pre-cal class, and I was like, what if I was an engineer? That would be cool. I'd make lots of money. I could probably travel the world if I did like environmental. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, that's what I think I want to do. And I started getting stressed out about it. I was like, oh no, I have to like get straight A's in math and science. And then I kind of went back to like, I really like working with kids and working with working in the school environment. So even though people might think that, money or like there's a demand for whatever career, definitely consider what you love.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And, I think it's good to have a combination of both things. Not only what you love, but also, what is there a demand for? Obviously, there is a great demand for teachers, but not just teachers, good teachers. And if you get exposed to it early on, I think the better you're going to be understanding if that's something that you really want to do.
Right.
If, consider all the pros and the cons, what are some great things about teaching? What are some of the really difficult things that you have to just deal with, So yeah, I definitely want to get more into that and like just it's interesting because I think right now you've made a big decision for yourself.
Yeah.
You're very young, and most young people do not get to that point, I think, for another, several years, sometimes even into university, and like you have to boil down to a major and you have to decide, and then you decide, but then even then you graduate and you still have the option of going in other directions with your career. But yet you have a very specific goal. You have a very clear vision of what you want to do, which is teaching, and then even how to be a teacher. Like you see yourself doing it because you're doing this internship. So in the process of making a big decision like this, which we think, as young people, we always think we have to make really big decisions, about like the future, and yet the future changes in so many ways. So what would you recommend doing in that process? Because it could be daunting. It could be really difficult. You could get stressed out. So how do you do that?
That's a tough question, because when you think about it, it's stressful. This is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Like, it sounds so dramatic. And I guess it can be. Really, I think you're just the same thing, consider what you love, but also think about how you can enforce that or put that into a career option. Like, there's so many careers out there that I don't even know all of them. But like when I went through with my, we have in our school a career teacher. I don't know what it's called. And there's like a list of all the careers that you could possibly have with what you're interested in. And it's amazing that all that's out there. I think it's really, you have to explore, and kind of get to know more about yourself.
I think you're right on. I think you touch on something really important, which are basically your resources around you, and what your school might offer. Maybe even just professionals that like people that your parents are friends with, or your teachers might have a friend, or someone in a wide range of fields and careers that could they could help you and they could give you guidance. And I don't think we normally think about all the ways in which we can explore career options. But anyway, away from career options, and kind of like back to to the fact that you're here, you're being featured, you stand out, you're from Upper Montgomery County, up Montgomery County, from Clarksburg, if I'm not mistaken. Germantown. So tell me, there were a lot of steps that it takes to win a scholarship like the one that you did, which is it's a prestigious scholarship. There's thousands and thousands of students that apply. So what do you feel was the reason why you won that scholarship, and what does it take?
I think really it's hard work, because at this age it's hard to commit yourself to your work, because we're teenagers. We want to go have fun. We want to go to like the movies, bowling, Some people want to go to parties. But it's definitely, you have to have a lot of dedication and commitment to pull through. You need to, put yourself in line. And like we were saying earlier with resources, definitely, ask for help and find ways that you could achieve your goals in school. Because I know I used to be really shy, and it used to be so hard for me to go to ask for a teacher, like, why was this wrong, or how can I get help with this? I used to get embarrassed. Like, I did this wrong. I don't want to go in front of her because, she might think like, oh, you're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. But it's not like that. And like those teachers are definitely there to help you. They're not going to look down on you for asking for help. If anything, they're glad that they're asking you for help. And I know that now, kind of with that teaching. I do second grade, like I said, and having the kids come up to me asking for help is such a good feeling. It just makes you feel like they value your opinion and your advice. And also another thing to do with education, I think kind of be dependent on yourself, because realistically you have to be an independent person to get your studies done. You can't be dependent on your friends or your family members, even though they are there to help you. You really have to do everything yourself, and put that quality into your work. And I think what I do is with school is sometimes I might take a long time to do something, but it's because I really take the time to do it right. Like little details like really bother me. I make sure every single detail is right in projects, essays, short responses, whatever it is. Definitely.
Good. Absolutely. I think you're hitting something really important, which is on excellence. And when you're somebody that pursues excellence, you're gonna go after the things that are not quite perfect. Even though we're talking about, okay, well, I don't want to be too much of a perfectionist. Like that can seem like a negative thing, but at the same time, you find the balance.
Right.
There's things that you have to make sure that are done well, that are done right, because you're also then setting an example for others and how how like the standard that you're setting for yourself. And obviously, if you can also make a decision. Okay, well, I've spent 5 hours doing something well, like enough is enough. But I think that is something that's going to carry with you, not only in the homework that you do now today, but in your lifetime work, and that it's valued. And it literally means a difference, in the job that you get to either keep or, or lose. You might lose a job because you don't have that excellence. And I've seen it happen, many times. So I definitely think that those little things, those little habits, all the ways in which you're kind of working now to sort of, you want a scholarship, you get good grades, but those things as an adult are the same thing, except in an adult context with an adult project. I mean, it's not that different. So I definitely commend you for, for setting such a high bar for yourself and for setting an example for many others. So I want to thank you for this first 15 minutes that you've given us. So we're going to be right back, and I want to talk about there's so much more we could talk about, but obviously there's this interest in fashion and and all the things that you do in the community. So we will be right back. Please stay with us, and also definitely grab a pen and paper, because we're going to get down some websites and some ways in which we can support Gianna in her passions. So thanks. We'll be back. And welcome back to Generación Latina. Here we are with Gianna, a local student, young Latina, very, very high achieving Latina that I've gotten the opportunity to meet. And as we continue the conversation, Gianna is going to kind of tell us a lot more about her passion and how she's furthering her interests. And I think it's something that we could all really learn from. So Gianna, I wanted to get into the specifics of how you've sort of developed your interests, your love for fashion, and yes, so tell me more about that, because you're not only a dedicated student, but you really put your time into the things that you love, and it's a hard thing to do sometimes. You know, we really just immerse ourselves in school, and then you don't have any time to do something you really like. So how do you do it?
Well, like I said earlier, with the whole quality thing, I think worth ethic and everything that you do is so important, because I think that's really how I'm able to manage everything, because by, setting aside some time, because, I go to school, I have my internship, then I have to leave the house if I have work until 9, and then I have a little fashion blog on the side. And then right now I'm also in the school musical, so that's taking a lot of my time too.
Wow.
So it's really managing time, asking people to be lenient with you. You don't have to feel like you're doing everything on your own in that sense. If you're doing a lot of things, just ask. Let them know. I'm doing this and this and this. Like, is it okay if I come late, or if I miss this day, or like something my dad's taught me that's always stuck true. Is ask and you shall receive. Definitely something that I live by. It's always stuck in my head, because it's true. If I can't go to work, I'll ask Sylvia, and she'll be like, yeah, sure, and she's always so nice about it. Or if I have to work and I can't go to play practice, I'll talk to the drama instructor, and she's like, yeah, that's great, don't worry about it. Don't be scared, because people are really compassionate. Also, I think, is being able to kind of work with yourself and know where enough is enough, to not stress yourself out. Because I know for me, things can get really hectic if I want to do everything at once. I want to do my homework, but at the same time, I just took pictures, I want to edit them and put them on the blog and spend 2 hours doing all that. Or I want to go to play practice, and I want to practice singing the numbers. So you need to know yourself and not stress yourself out.
Yeah, know your limits. I think that's a great piece of advice, and sort of being able to look at your week or even just your day and just see that, realistically, I have to get sleep. So how much can I actually really do? And before you say yes to everything, I used to be the kind of person that would say yes to a lot of things.
That's how I was.
Yeah, and then, now it's well, I have limits. I need to get my sleep, I have to, I want to spend time with my family. I can't just, be out every night doing something fun or seeing friends whenever I want, just because I can. But it's really about, knowing yourself and knowing where you can really achieve, give your best, by limiting yourself to some degree, I think, your parents, your teachers, your bosses can appreciate that. And the other thing that I think, that you mentioned, that I wanted to get more into is about your blog. So tell us about that. What exactly you're doing. I think there's a lot of blogs out there that students are starting, but this is something that you share. You can help your pursuit of schools when you apply to schools, or even scholarships or jobs, everything. So tell me about what you're doing.
Well, the blog started about 3 years ago, and it was really just a little personal blog. I upload pictures and however I was feeling, and it got a pretty good response. Right now I'm about 500 followers, which is really exciting for me. And I thought, why don't I use that to my advantage, to say, not in a bad way, but for my own good. And so I've always loved fashion. As about 7th, 8th grade, I used to always look through Nylon magazine or Teen Vogue, and oh, I want to do that, I want to wear that, I can put this together. And I just kind of mix and match my own clothing, and it worked, and people would say oh, you've got great taste, and whatever. And I used to feel so humbled by all those compliments. And so and also working with Sylvia, I've been working there for almost a year now. And
at the Red Hue Boutique in Rockville.
Red Hue Boutique. And it's been such a great experience. She's really a good role model. She's so family oriented. She's so into her work and very passionate about it. And she shares that. Working with her has given me a lot of opportunities. she's so sweet. You know, she's taken me to trade shows, and I've worked with her on fashion shows, and that's given me a lot of experience of kind of seeing what kind of people, if you know, if this works out, that I can work with in the future, or how to put things together, or just how to market myself. So she's also been helping me promote the blog. When we went to a blogging event in January, and she took me just so she could promote my blog, not even to promote her store. So that was so sweet of her. I forgot what I was saying.
No, you're right on.
So yeah, I kind of put that into a blog, and I'll go out with a friend or my sister, and we'll take pictures of kind of what I wore. It's kind of like a daily look blog where, you know, take a picture of like like from here up, or I'll take a picture of like my skirt or my pants, and kind of put it in a collage or like a little montage together, and kind of describe what I was thinking while I put the outfit together. Like if it was a cold day, a warm day, how I was feeling, if I was feeling like something funky or something, you know, kind of neutral.
I think it's so exciting that you would do something like this, because it is sort of taking something you already do for yourself and taking it online and just letting, you know, opening it up to the world. Like, it can be a scary thing, and not many people are willing to do something like it. But I think people don't realize that there are so many other people that would love to hear and read and learn about what you're doing, you know. And I think we often see ourselves as very, very small people, and like we don't really have anything interesting to say or something that we would, you know, make an impact. But at the same time, like, if we don't dare try that, if we don't push through the limits in that way, how are we ever going to know, you know, the potential? And who knows, like, I mean, you know, your passion for teaching might be able to be merged with your, you know, your eye for fashion and all that, like in ways that you don't realize it, but because you're connecting with the world through the blog, you may be able to pick up some amazing, like, educational fashion venture that you don't know about, you know?
Definitely.
But it happens, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where people are after, you know, some project or some kind of discovery or research of their own, that they just put it on a blog, they begin to, you know, build kind of a following, and then all of a sudden they get picked up by some really famous, powerful someone in that industry, and then suddenly they explode, you know? And that, I mean, that's something that you just have to take those risks. And I think that you're doing it so early on just sets, you know, such a great kind of path for yourself in the future. So I'm really excited about it.
Thank you.
Can you share the blog for us? Like, what?
It's visualuproar@tumblr.com. I have like a little card. I don't know if that's going to show up later.
That's great. Yeah, and it's great that you're using all these things to your advantage to promote it. Like, you know, you can see the card on the screen, or we'll put it up on our blog. But absolutely, like, we want to support you, and you know, you're not just local, but you're going global with it too.
I hope so. Because I mean, it's definitely picked up a pretty good response. Like, I have like a Twitter and the Facebook, and I've also set up a Facebook for the blog, and I've gotten some good responses from people. I had this one person that I don't know personally, but they follow the blog, and they've like reposted all of my my fashion blogs or the posts, and I went to like their blog, and it turned out that they had like over 2K followers. And I was like, wow, hopefully, you know, those people following him are going to see that and, you know, expand. And definitely, even though it's something for fun that I'm doing now, if it gets picked up and it's successful, you know, then great. You know, it's definitely going to be exciting. I can push forward and, you know, maybe gain a little bit of fame or whatever. And if it doesn't work out in that way, it's okay, because, you know, I'm doing it for fun. I'm doing it really for myself, and I can kind of look back and like, oh, that's what I wore on that day, or I can kind of reference it.
Exactly. And to think about it, you're also sort of putting kind of a visual timeline of of our you know, past, which in the future it's going to be our past, but you can sort of see like the history of how things are developing, in not just fashion, but in our thinking, because obviously what you wear like reflects how you feel, how you think today. And so, absolutely, like, I mean, obviously you're, really fashionable today, but
Thank
this
you.
is like an everyday thing for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited, and I want to support you with the blog.
Well,
So
thank you.
that's exciting. So, what sort of what would you want students who are watching, let's say, the show today, or even teachers, what would you want them to gain from all your experiences? You're definitely not somebody to go out and like tell everyone all the great things that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
but you've done really great things, and you've obviously won awards for it. And so I want to be able to just use this opportunity to sort of get the gold nugget, out of this time. So what would you want them to gain from our time together?
Well, I guess a little piece of advice that has been like passed down to me with, asking people for advice, and don't be scared, because I know, like I said before, I'm kind of the person in school who'll keep to themselves, and I'll keep my opinions to myself because I don't want people to judge me or think that whatever, I guess like crazy or weird or. But it's not a bad thing, to kind of put yourself out there, because that's what I've learned really by doing this blog. By putting myself out there, even if people get annoyed with like my 50 posts, they'll follow the blog or do this, go check out our look. No one's gonna come at you and be like, you need to like be quiet, and people kind of see that and they respect you for it. They respect you for being outgoing and for doing good for yourself. And also, I guess, take your academics seriously, because definitely that's what's blessed me, I think, in this case. I'm going to the school, my dream school. They're giving me a scholarship. I've got the scholarship that we talked about earlier. And it's really because I've worked hard in school. And even sometimes when I didn't get the best grades, it was because I was managing all those things. And people see that. They're like, wow, she's, like you said earlier, like I'm only like 17 and I'm doing all these things. And people, they're impressed by that. So you want to put yourself above the rest.
Yep, absolutely. You've done such a great job doing that. So thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to having you back in a few years, once you're a full-blown, teacher ready to kind of make a daily impact in the lives of students. And really, whatever you choose to do, we want to support you, and we want to thank you for, everything that you've said today. I think it hits very well with what we need to know, what we need to hear for ourselves, as young Latino students who are often very scared and don't dare ask those questions, don't dare raise their hand. But you've done that really well. So thank you so much, Gianna, and congratulations on everything that you're going to accomplish in the future. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please don't forget to support Gianna with her blog, and also you can find a link to that and everything else that we've discussed today, including the Hispanic Heritage Youth Awards Scholarship, all on generacionlatina.org. Thanks, and we will see you next time.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? If you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.